events can easily spin out of control.
The first new episode of the year. Firing. On the brink of war.
My people are not afraid of you.
3 world leaders gather.
It's going to take the world's commitment to war in order to actually stop the war.
One will not survive. New Madam Secretary, CBS Sunday.
Hello. Oh my God, this is so loud. Wow. Wow.
What?
Let's have a screaming contest. You know, what occurs to me most about your show is how timely it is, given that what is the big news of today? That North Korea apparently detonated a hydrogen bomb successfully.
A nice way to start off the morning.
Yeah,
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning,
North
everyone.
Korea's out to kill us.
Good morning. An unstable leader in the Hermit Kingdom now has the bomb. Woo!
Yeah, I love that movie. No.
Yeah, it's Seth Rogen. No.
Yeah,
No. Are we talking about different? Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Sorry. What resonated about the show with each of you when you guys first got the script?
Don't us all answer at once.
Patina's like, what show?
Well,
She's like, Mockingjay?
go ahead. Me. When I read it, it was sort of like it was written so perfectly, which is not the case with a lot of pilots, that it already felt like it was on the air. I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean in the sense that
It was established.
It was established. It felt like as I was reading it, I was also watching it. So I remember when I got the script, it's pilot season, so there's a lot of things. You're getting scripts all the time, and you're hearing about things, but it was the one that seemed the most clear and like it had the best shot for getting on television. So I really put my energy into focusing on that.
I found it to be very hopeful for a script, and there's so many things on television, and there's so many scripts that come along that are just like, don't you know the world is bad, and it's like nonstop with that.
I like the vocal effect.
Yeah,
there.
no,
Very
that's
well
how
done.
I read scripts to myself.
Okay.
He walks into a room. Hey, what's going on? I don't know. But it was cool to like read a script that was set in the real world and at the same time was trying, the McCords are so hopeful as a people and they're so hardworking, and and they're also very considerate, which doesn't ever happen in real life, it seems. So it's nice to have that on television, and I think that's what drew me to the script.
You kind of wish that they were like your real politicians, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like seeing Jimmy Stewart again in It's a Wonderful Life. It's just like there's nice people out there and they want to help everybody, which I like.
And for me, being a woman, it was really nice to pick up a script and see all of these female roles written in such a smart and fantastic way. And for me, you know what I mean? You don't really get a lot of those, I have to say. And it was one of the first ones for me that was just really so smart and current and just, I picked it up and I didn't want to put it down, and it made me want to be a part of it, so.
Well, you've had like a twofer, right? Between this and Mockingjay, where you're like, have you guys seen The Hunger Games? She's like she's like the badass commander.
Yeah.
So.
Pretty badass.
Yeah, you are pretty badass in that, so yeah.
Yeah, I got my taste of playing some really strong female roles, We don't have enough of them, but it's coming around, and it's really nice to be a part of it.
So with Taya not here, each of you has to tell me something absolutely scandalous about her as
Sure. No.
You're like, where do I begin?
Where do I begin? Scandalous. I will say this. I've never, first and foremost, I've never worked with someone like Tea Leoni. The person, everyone always comes up to me, and I don't know if it's the same for you guys, but everyone comes up to me and goes, is she really like that? Yeah. And I keep wondering, what do you mean like that?
Like unflappable and direct and straightforward.
She is. She's one of the greatest people I've ever worked with. She is the most fun. She is not only professional, but over-the-top professional, where she makes everyone else feel like they're just as needed. It really is an incredible set, and that starts at the top and trickles down, and that definitely comes from her. she's not what I would call. What is she like? She's a tomboy on set. She's a frat boy on set. Is actually what she is.
She's very. We should just say she's very gassy.
She's very gassy, is what I'm trying to say.
Really?
She likes to drink soda water, and then it comes up in different. Yeah.
There's what we're trying to say is right before they yell action, there's a lot of burping. Yeah.
It's amazing. It's incredible, and it's a great like contrast to. I don't have people coming up being like, "Is she really amazing?" I have like random dudes on the street being like, "Hey, you're a Madam Secretary, right? Tea Leoni. She's hot, right?" And I'm like, yeah.
By the way, are you hanging out on the docks? Where in New York
I'm
are you
usually
hanging
hanging out at Port
Okay.
Authority.
I thought
docks,
so. Yeah.
Pizza places. Yeah, basically. Yeah, but everybody wants to know if she's hot, and I'm like, you can see that she's
She
she's
looks
really
like that in
hot.
person too.
She's
Yeah,
hot.
She's hot. She's hot.
And she burps.
Yeah.
And she burps.
Can she burp like songs, or just is it a single burp?
She probably could if
Probably
she wanted
could.
to.
Yeah.
Yeah, we haven't tested her.
She's strong. She's got a strong burp going. Okay.
Although she's very clear that she wants nothing to do with singing. That she's very clear on that.
So you will not have a musical episode coming up.
No. We had
We've done that already,
we
yeah.
did that already at the top of season 2. We did a little bit of singing, and where it was the whole thing was focused around the fact that Madam Secretary will not be singing, even though she's asked to. So she relegates that to us.
What is the show? Really is it's so serious. I mean, it's got its lighter moments, but generally you're dealing with world crises and assassinations. What is the vibe like on set?
I mean, it's not dark. I mean, we try to keep an upbeat spirit. I mean, these guys keep me entertained all day.
She just sometimes looks at me and just laughs. Well, and I'm not even doing it.
I know.
Yeah. What is
Sorry.
that about?
Well,
Yeah. No, we have fun on set. We have a great group of people. Everybody likes working, and we're working in New York, which is like one of the dreams.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and we're working on a good show, and the scripts keep coming in, and they're better than the last. Yeah. So it's hard to have sort of a morose, somber time, even though we are dealing with, oh my God, the warheads. That just launched.
And even when you are dealing with that, we'll have fun conversations about that. And whether, does that make sense? I mean, we'll change things on the fly right as we're filming it. But then once we've established it and once we've done that first take of it, then we'll laugh and we'll joke around. And especially when it gets to the end of the day, there's a lot of joking around. The director has to sort of go, all right, guys.
And half
Get
of our
it
cast
together.
are musical theater, like Broadway stars. So there's always somebody singing, and I'm always making fun
Dancing.
of someone.
I'm sorry, you sing too.
Yeah,
Jeff.
really?
I don't trip.
I don't know what
And this is I can already guess the answer to this, but I'll ask it anyway. Could any of you ever imagine running for public office? Well, the silence is
Well,
the answer.
Is that when you use the incognito
Yes.
thing on your browser?
Yes,
That's the
exactly.
thing?
Yeah.
I would say I love bringing these people to life. I love being able to portray, these characters and what they do, because what they do is not easy. I mean, having those sort of platforms is just really the hardest thing ever. I love being able to play them, so I'll just say that.
Totally. Washington is intense.
It is intense.
It is.
And I don't know if I could deal with the pressures of, everything I'm doing could possibly have long-lasting, overarching effects on many other people. That to me is frightening. Yeah.
I think the thing about that our show highlights and also the West Wing did so beautifully was focus on the people that aren't always in front of the camera. And not only is that us for Elizabeth McCord, but it's also Elizabeth McCord. The Secretary of State is not someone whose daily life we know a lot about. In fact, I think if you asked a large percentage of people, they wouldn't even be totally sure what it is that the Secretary of State does. So I think it's really interesting to what we see now, seeing what all the people behind the scenes do, whether it be the speechwriter or the policy advisor. Those jobs seem very interesting to me. I don't know if I would want to be the person to go out and then have to sell that to the American public. That part to me seems scary, because you're the face on it, even if you don't necessarily. And that's another thing that this show teaches, is that our politicians don't always agree with what they're saying, but there is a game to it.
And they have to say it.
And they have to say it, and not just because someone told them to, but because they know it's a negotiation, especially for the Secretary of State. there's a huge negotiation process that goes on with other countries that the American public never sees, or at least doesn't see for some time. And I think that's what's great about this show, is that it shows you it's not just about what's right and what's wrong. It's about what needs to be done.
Have you guys heard from John Kerry's office at all? Like, just any feedback?
Stop calling.
John Kerry, Jesus.
Yeah, I met him.
Don't you have like Mideast crises to solve?
I met him at the White House, and I said, I play your assistant on television, and he was like, what? I said, well, I'm Madam Secretary. I play. I said, oh, yeah. And he mentioned that he's like, oh yes, I watched a few episodes of that show, really like it.
Oh,
and
cool.
I said, this is when this is back in the summer, and the Iran deal was being negotiated. And he said, well, I said to him, when you're in New York next, come visit set. We'd love to have you. He was like, oh, I will. We've got some things to deal with right now in Iran, but once I deal with that, yeah, I'll definitely come visit. I was like, sure, yes, you might want to work on that first, it seems. Yeah, but they're aware of it, and yeah, we have fans.
I love how casual you are. When I was at the White House and I met John Kerry,
right.
I'm just like, oh, yeah, totally.
I know. Did you want me to pick up that name?
I mean, I was like...
He was on a White House tour. And there was like
They ran into each other in the bathroom.
Yeah, exactly.
it's Kerry
Starbucks.
with an IE. There's a different John Kerry.
No, we had someone here who was like, the third time I met Michelle Obama, and I was like, totes, man. Like, she and I are totally doing tequila shots tonight. I mean, please, If you guys could hang out or pick the brain of any politician, living or dead, who would it be? But answer in your voice, in the voice.
In which voice? In the voice of the person who's...
No, in your script reading voice.
Oh, my script reading voice. I would say Franklin Delano Roosevelt.
Oh.
Because he
That's
had a lot
good,
to deal with, He had
some issues, yeah.
He had some issues. He had polio, and he also had, and he had World War II. And he also had...
And the Great Depression.
In the Great Depression. There's
That
a lot
is
of things
That's a
on his
lot.
plate.
He was busy.
But he also put together the Works Progress Administration, and it was the only time in this country that we had a publicly funded arts program that put, hundreds of thousands of people into work, which I thought was pretty cool. And we saw the rise of Orson Welles and Houston, all these great filmmakers. So I think I'd want to talk to him and be like, what were you thinking,
In that voice.
Yeah, if you're like, excuse me, Mr. Roosevelt. Yeah, you have to if you go back in time. You got to talk like this. Hey, Mr. Roosevelt. Yeah, that's what I'll do. I'm going to go now.
Yeah, you should probably leave, Geoffrey. Thank you for coming.
I don't think either of you could match that, so I think
This is, by the way, here's what you need to know. This is what set is like.
Yes.
It's this for hours. Hours.
And then they're like, North Korea has a hydrogen bomb, go.
Right,
You
exactly.
know? Yeah.
Yep. I don't know. I would say, to answer your question, I would probably say, I just want to know what Hamilton would think of his musical. That's what
That would actually be cool if you went to see the musical with him.
Right.
He wouldn't be able to get tickets.
That's true.
the sad thing.
Well, Hamilton, if he came back from the dead, might be able to get tickets. Don't you think?
he
I
would?
think he
They
would.
might
does
make an
he know?
exception.
Can I call them? I'm seeing it in August 2019. It's going to be awesome.
I think Patina Miller has some hookups on Broadway. She could probably, make it happen.
I probably could hook him up.
You're the one I'm getting the
Call
tickets
me.
from for 2019. You're not helping me out. Nobody's helping me.
No, for me it would probably be Obama, but I would want to talk to him after the 8 years are up to see what the hell.
What about that?
I just want to sit and have coffee with him. The speech yesterday
Yeah,
I
on
mean-
gun violence. That's gotta really. That's why I don't want to be in office, because it's like what the last episode called Greater Good. It's like you have to make all these concessions, and your heart's bleeding for one thing, and then there's all these people being like, no, you may not, and you're like, come on, guys, please.
And it's like these common sense issues where you're
Yeah.
like, how could you disagree with this?
Yeah.
Well, I don't think I'd want to talk to any politician while they're in office. I
Yeah.
feel like
After.
everyone is so constrained when you're in your job by either your
Re-election.
party or re-election, or I don't know that anyone is ever free to do. Nope. And Elizabeth on our show does do that, and she gets in trouble for it. I mean, every single time she's done that, there's been repercussions. She always tries to do what's right. She's not a career politician. and she gets in trouble for it. So, in some way or another. So I don't know if I'd want to talk to any politician while they're in office. I think that you'll never get the true answer.
So sad.
I know.
It's such a sad thing.
But it's true though,
Yeah.
Yeah. If you could, I guess if you could pass do you guys have a passion law or a piece of legislation that you would want passed, something that you want changed?
I mean, it's on everybody's mind. This past whole year, it's gun control.
Yeah.
It has to be. We have to really look at that, and I think it's such a difficult thing, but it's also there's too many people dying. So at this point, what's the greater good? It's not to take away your Second Amendment rights. Nobody wants to take away the rights given to us by the Constitution, but at the same time, our world has expanded so far beyond the scope of the original founders that we have to evolve with the times. And if every day there's a shooting and children are dying where they don't have to, we have to look at that and figure out a way to move forward.
I think we should institute a bill called the Fact Bill, which is when you are making your case about anything, you have to use things called facts.
Oh, as opposed
to what you think or what you believe.
preach.
It's not what you believe. There's no such thing as what you believe. There's facts and there's opinions, but you can't have opinions about facts. And this whole thing, truthiness.
Yes.
It's gotten to a level even worse than it was 10 years ago, where, as we see in the election right now, you just make stuff up, and everyone believes it because it sort of fits your pre-thought narrative. And that whole thing about facts really, really gets to me. It drives me nuts.
Has being on the show made you guys more sympathetic or more critical
To who?
of our politicians?
Yeah, yes and no.
It's tough because we are on that show that has someone who's constantly trying to make the right choice against these impossibly gray areas. So on one hand, it makes me be like, why can't more people be like that? And then on the other hand, I don't know. It depresses me. I'm very depressed.
I know, Geoffrey.
I'm very upset.
Well, we'll go to therapy later.
Okay. With John Kerry.
Yes.
You see the BS a lot more. I think you see it a bit more clearly. I know for me, following politics now, you see like all those guys just really the facts, just telling you anything, and it's just like, oh God, and seeing all the people rallying around that, it's just.
And I've been watching Make a Murder too.
Oh
my
God! Obsessive about making a murderer.
Everybody, I'm like, I don't believe anyone.
Anything.
They're
Everyone's
awful
lying.
people. Everyone is.
Do we have another hour to talk about that show? Because
God,
I'm
don't
obsessive.
ruin it for me. I need to watch it.
Oh, you haven't watched it?
Yeah,
Okay, never mind.
yeah. I have a 4-year-old. My TV watching is very
Right.
You should watch it with your
limited.
4-year-old.
Yes.
Well, he's already seen it,
Oh my
Oh,
God.
well.
and I told him no spoilers, man. Like, keep it in check. No Twitter. All right, members of the audience, let's hear it. I bet you have some questions.
We're going to start with a question from an online viewer. So Jen would like to know, what kind of input do each of you have into how your characters are developed?
Yeah.
I think we have a bit of input. I mean, at the end of the day, we're the actors. We have to make it work. Everyone is very, it's a collaborative effort. I mean, we're able to go and voice our concerns if we don't feel right about something. And, the writers are very, they're willing to kind of make changes when it makes sense. So I think, I think it's a collaborative. What do you think?
We're lucky we come from we get these scripts that are so well written to begin with. And then I think we've all pitched ideas, the things that we'd like to see our character do or our characters go. And they've been very receptive, within boundaries. You don't always want to listen to actors. I mean, we're not the greatest minds.
They're like blah blah blah.
Yeah, exactly.
What about a whole episode about me?
Yeah, I pitched that a couple of times.
Yeah,
It's
how did
like,
that go?
I go to the store, and then I have a sandwich. And they're like, okay. They're like, great.
Hey. Hi, guys. This question's for Patina. So you're kind of 2 for 2 on political characters with Mockingjay and now Madam Secretary. Is that a kind of character you're really been interested in, or is that kind of just a coincidence?
I think it's just a coincidence. I mean, you know, it's always nice. I don't know. I've always been saying this in my career that I want to continue to do smart roles. I want to play smart characters. I want to do things that make a difference and, you know, just be a part of something positive. And it's really amazing that I've been able to portray 2 strong female roles in Mockingjay and on Madam Secretary. So it's been cool.
Hello, right here. Stand
Hi.
up. All right. How have you guys prepared yourself for these roles? Have you guys been contacting like John Kerry's team and constantly and?
I mean, how often do you email John Kerry? Let's get down to it.
Oh.
Daily, weekly,
Well,
hourly?
John in the chain letters has really got us, the chain emails that he
reply
sends.
alls,
Oh,
right?
yeah,
It's
yeah,
ridiculous.
All the
yeah.
forwards he sends you.
Oh, gosh.
I
The
heard
Saudi
he-
princes asking for money and John
mean,
Kerry.
yeah.
Send this to 7 people.
And,
you'll
and
have good
Patina was
luck.
complaining back there, like the reply alls
Right.
with Obama are just
Oh,
beyond.
just really.
Yeah.
No, we did our premiere in season 1
Mm-hmm.
in D.C. and Madeline Albright came. You know, she also was Madeline Albright did a guest star on our show. Do you think she has her
was-
SAG card, by the way? Did she have to get a SAG card for that? Yeah, she was on the show. She was great. She was a great.
No, she probably did get one.
She probably had to.
Yeah.
But like I hung out with her body person, you know, her assistant,
Mm-hmm.
and sort of asked what the day-to-day was, and we talked and stuff like that. And we had a great team of people work on the show who had worked in the White House, who are on set as advisors. You know, who will literally say things like, "No, that person wouldn't walk into that room," or "That person would walk before that person." Things like that. So you're learning as you go. There's always there's prep as you go.
And one more question, please.
I think it's me. Hi. So you guys all have a huge theater background. Patina, I saw you in Pippin, and you were incredible.
Thank
You just blew
you.
my mind. You're also in Sister Act with Marissa Perry, my friend.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, which
Love
was fun.
her.
So I was wondering, what's the biggest adjustment you guys have to make in your performance now, being on a TV show, being on screen, as opposed to being on the stage?
Craft services, right?
Craft services.
Well, you know, the camera doesn't respond, which is, you know,
Yeah, it's
that's
the hard thing.
That's the hardest thing. It's like being on stage, moment to moment, you know, you could feel what's landing or what's not landing. And when you're on set, you basically have a couple people behind the camera being like, that was good. Okay, let's go. You know?
If that.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Lunch. It's lunch.
It's lunch. Yeah. The hardest thing for me was learning to let go that you don't get a chance to do it again. I mean, that's the biggest thing for me is oh, I didn't get that right tonight. Well, there's tomorrow, and then 1,000 more performances. This is you do it 4 times, 5 times, and then that's it. And we've all talked about, we've walked away from takes, and like, oh, why did I do? No, it should have been. And all you want to do is say, can we get the cameras back over here? Can we do it again? But they've moved on. Learning to let go of whatever you put out into the world on the fly has been the biggest change for me.
It is the immediacy of theater. You know, you have one time to get it right. And like we were saying, just being able to walk out on a stage and feel all that energy and then didn't go into a studio. You know what you're doing. You know your character arc too. You know in a play, you know where you have to start, you know where to end. TV, you get the scripts every week. So you're learning something about your character every week. And and I know I've had days or weeks when we've done a script and I found something out about myself and I'm like, oh dang, I wish I would have known that 2 scripts ago. So it's just kind of learning on the go. It really is, for me, it's very new and it's been really challenging, but in a great way. It's its own beast and it's a great one.
And we're not that far ahead of the audience in terms
Yeah.
of what I think episode 11, I want to say, if I'm not mistaken, is the one that we come back with this Sunday night.
That's where we're in the tank.
In the tank, yeah.
Spoilers.
Yeah, but we're filming episode 15 right now,
Yeah.
so we're not that far ahead of what the audience sees. So we, like Patina was saying, we really have no clue where this is going.
Until you see the script.
Until we see the script, yeah.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you to our audience, and thank you to you guys.
Thank you. Thanks for
Thank
having
you.
us.
Thank you.